Get a look at that. Get a look at that. Y'all already know what it is, right? Yo. Okay. Welcome to another episode of that deep shit, where we connect them dots like we always do. And on this episode, we're gonna touch on we're gonna get into the realm of the superpowers. You know, the extra human abilities. So this might be the start of a whole new series on how to tap into those supernatural abilities. Okay, so in today's lesson, we're gonna touch on telepathy. Okay, so telepathy is a form of communicating without speaking. Now this may seem like some mumbo jumbo, magical hocus pocus, Merlin with a wand, David Blaine disappearing type shit, but in all actuality, this thing of telepathy has a lot of history that you can really sink your teeth into, dating back as far as the beginning of time, actually. In fact, us beings, before we were totally in the physical form, or even after the physical form, because at first we were kind of like etheric energy beings before we found physical bodies, or better yet, before we were trapped into physical shells. But even after the first initial trapping into physical shells, which is a whole nother video, we didn't really talk. We communicated through the mental plane. Now this is very advanced to some, not advanced to others. All right, so as I digress, jumping back on topic, telepathy has been around for millions of years. All right, so and it's not as spooky or scary as one might think. Now we have to really break it down to very simple terms. Everything that seems complicated, scary, spooky, unbelievable, unreal, make-believe is really simple once you start to understand very key principles and very simple universal laws. Telepathy is no different. So let's dive right into that. Everything on this physical plane here is condensed from a higher realm, meaning before it gets to the physical plane, it exists in a place that's unphysical, or not physical, I should say. And the way that things kind of filter down or condense itself to a third dimensional density is it condenses itself through the elements. Now the elements can get broke down very complicated in, you know, like different elements like oxygen, carbon, blah blah blah. But to keep it simple for this video, we'll talk about the four elements of earth, wind, water, and fire. I've said this plenty of times before, but we're going to dig in a little deeper right now on that deep shit. Woo! All right, so finding which element to identify with an ability is key to mastering that ability. And in this ability of telepathy, the element associated with it is air. Now, if you think about it, it kind of makes sense because telepathy deals with the mental. The mental is not physical, you know, that's more of an earth thing. The physical kind of connects with the earth element. Intuition kind of connects with water, for an example. But when you're dealing with mental or mentalism, It's more of a air element. So if you want to start to practice how to use telepathy, the first thing when trying to exercise any supernatural ability, and I only say supernatural because, for lack of a better phrase, because nothing's really supernatural, but for lack of a better phrase, to tap into any supernatural ability, one first must clean thy temple, cleaning the mind, the body, and the soul, meaning eating correctly, meaning trying to eliminate all artificial foods from diets, and that's very hard in today's day and age. Exercising the physical shell, and exercising the spirit first before any of these things can become tangible. Once one has started or began on this journey, they will find to use telepathy a little easier. So after major chakra work, a dietary change, and connecting spiritually with one's higher self, at least, or with one's ancestors at minimum, then you can start to try to play around on the physical plane to manipulate it. And that's what telepathy is. Telepathy is using the things around you and manipulating it. So since telepathy is connected to the air element, you have to understand what air is. Okay? What air is. Air, watch this. I want to give you a sneak peek into the elements. Air, water, fire, earth, it's all the same thing, but just different densities. Watch this. Because if you wave your hand like this, you can feel the air. The air is just a lighter form of water. Just like if you were in the water and you were waving your hand back and forth in the pool, you would feel the friction of the water. But it's the same thing with the air. It's just a lighter density of it. So now we know that air is invisible per se, but it's there. It's just very thin. So this is something that we can work with now, right? So we have to understand that the air is nothing but atoms, to say the least, based on a molecular structure. And if you look at any type of atom or any type of molecule under a microscope, it has structure to it. Usually there's some type of geometric structure that's going on here, but all that tells me is when you start dealing with geometry that you're also dealing with light. But it's kind of clear to see that light fills the air. It fills the air. So basically what I'm trying to get to is that it's programmable, just like anything that can hold light. Anything that's crystallized can hold light. The air is no different. So the air can be programmed. So when you're using the air as far as telepathy, you have to concentrate on what the air is and actually putting the intention of the thought in the air. Put it in the air. Put it in the air, literally. I'm saying? And use your intention to send your thought in the direction that you want to send it to. Now, I've found personally that this works better on windy days. So you can try this. You and a friend try this and see how well it works. On a windy day or a windy night, put a thought out there, maybe preferably before you sleep. It's easier to do it the later in the evening because the veil between dimensions get thinner, yada yada yada, whole nother video. Put it out there in the air on a windy night so it travels. It's easier to travel because the air is actually moving. You can use with your intentions to to navigate the thought. I know this sounds way out, but I'm giving you tactics on how to do it. Try it. Try it and see if it works. All right. So, doing this technique over time, you should be able to see some results. All right. But most importantly, to kind of give you a more tangible example of how this works even better than just using a windy night, go outside in nature. Go up to a tree. See, trees are very ancient. Using nature to your benefit works out in your favor if you understand what nature is, because we're all natural. Even though I got this shirt on, funny, I got this shirt on because it's a tree and I'm talking about a tree. We're natural people. We don't really supposed to have clothes on. That's unnatural. You know what I'm saying? You know, so you got to understand that everything in nature is connected. Everything. So that means the tree is connected to the earth, but the tree is also connected to the air. So the trees are major conduits of information and how a lot of information is sent. Case in point, go to a tree. Attach to the tree, connect with the tree, emotionally, spiritually, physically, connect with the tree, talk to the tree, and use the tree naturally to send your message. Why does this work? Because, like I said, the trees are connected to the earth, and we're all on the earth. But most importantly, the trees absorb carbon that when you're talking to it, the trees are absorbing this carbon. Within the tree's cycle of what a tree does naturally, it takes your carbon and turns it into oxygen. What is oxygen? Air. Okay? So now you're using carbon that you've programmed into words, and now you're programming it into a tree. And now you're using the tree because you're doing this out of love. Hopefully you're taking this information and you're using this information out of love. You would want to use it out of love because that's all it is. And the tree out of love is doing what it does to turn it into oxygen that's already programmed with an intent to send it out into the oxygen to more easily program the air molecules. See, everything is programmable. Everything is programmable. So I would say try it out, you know what I'm saying? Put some work into it, you know what I mean? And see if telepathy works for you. With that being said, I'm finna close out this video. I'm signing out. You already know what it is. Log on to www.newmysteryschool.com for more exclusive videos and more exclusive spiritual products to enhance your ascension. Peace.